From the moment senior year began, I thought nothing could hurt more than losing Dad. I was wrong. I was Sarah. Straight A student, debate captain, the girl teachers called future world changer. But at home, every memory of Dad felt like a crime. He used to sit with me on the porch swing, promising I'd become a marine biologist, buying me my first microscope the very next day. Then cancer took him in weeks. The house turned silent. Mom turned hollow. That's when Richard walked in. He met Mom at a grief group, put smiles back on her face, and 6 months later moved into Dad's house, slept in Dad's bed, and started erasing him. Anytime I mentioned Dad, Richard snapped, "He's gone. Get over it." He mocked my clothes, my friends, my dreams. Why waste your life staring at fish through a microscope? Learn to cook. That's what women do. Mom said nothing. I think she was terrified of being alone again, so I escaped into school. 4.0 GPA. Every science club. Late nights in the library just to delay going home. The acceptances started rolling in. Stanford Duke Scripps Institution of Oceanography, my dream school, full-ride scholarship. I kept the envelopes hidden in my room, waiting for the right moment to tell Mom alone. That moment never came. One Friday night Richard found them while cleaning my room. He marched into the living room waving the torn open letters like trophies, Mom trailing behind him, confused I in front of her, in front of my little brother. He ripped every single acceptance letter into pieces. "Too dumb for college," he sneered, letting the confetti of my future flutter to the floor. "Marine biologist? Please. You'll end up flipping burgers. Stop wasting everyone's time and money." Mom just stared, silent. Something inside me snapped, not with anger, but with perfect icy clarity. That I looked at the shredded paper covering the carpet, then straight at him. "That's cute, Richard," I said, voice steady. "Because those scholarships? They're worth $320,000. And the trust fund Dad set up for my education before he died, the one you never knew existed because you were too busy erasing him, just paid out last month." I pulled the bank statement from my backpack and dropped it on the coffee table. $1.2 million. In my name only. Irrevocable. You can't touch a cent. Richard's face went white. "And the house we're standing in?" I continued. "Dad put it in a trust for Mom and me. You've been living rent-free in my property for 2 years. Mom finally spoke, voice shaking. "Sarah?" I met her eyes. "I was going to wait until I left for California to tell you both. But since Richard wants to talk about who's dumb and who's wasting money," I turned back to him. "Pack your bags. You have 30 days. After that, the locks change and the police remove you for trespassing." He started yelling. Mom started crying. My little brother just stared in shock. That I walked to my room, closed the door, and for the first time in years I didn't feel small. 3 weeks later I was on a plane to Scripps. Richard was gone. Mom was in therapy, paid for by Dad's trust, and finally starting to remember who she was before grief and fear took over. Sometimes the people who try to tear you down hand you the exact scissors you need to cut them out of your life. Dad always said I'd change the world one day. Turns out the first part one changed was my own. "You can go anywhere, Sarah," Miss Thompson said, eyes shining with pride. Her words reignited the fire Dad had lit in me years ago. I applied to the 5 best marine biology programs in the country. One by one, the thick envelopes arrived at Mia's house. Full-ride scholarships, every single one. That I came home that day clutching reprints I'd made at school, ready to tell Mom, ready to celebrate the future Dad always saw for me. Richard was waiting. Before I could open my mouth, he snatched the letters, scanned them, and ripped them to pieces. "College?" He laughed. "Don't kid yourself. You're staying here to help your mother like a good daughter should." The shredded paper fell like snow. Something inside me went very still. The next day I walked into Mia's kitchen and said, "I need your help to disappear." Plan B was born. All college mail rerouted to Mia's address, afternoons at the library, actually spent writing essays and filing FAFSA night shifts at the cafe, money secretly stashed in an account Richard didn't know existed. Miss Thompson writing recommendation letters that brought tears to my eyes. Richard grew suspicious. "Why do you need a job?" "I'm saving for a car," I lied smoothly. He smirked, believing I was planning to stay under his thumb forever. Then one night I overheard him in the kitchen with Mom. "That college fund your late husband left? We should use it for my new business. She's not going anywhere." I shot through my veins. That was the moment I stopped being scared and started counting days. Graduation came. I walked across the stage, diploma in hand, smiling for pictures while Richard clapped like a proud stepfather. 2 weeks later, on a random Tuesday morning when he thought Agar left for work, I loaded 2 suitcases into Mia's car. Mom was at her sister's. I left an envelope on the kitchen table. Inside, copies of all my acceptance letters, bank statement showing the untouched $180,000 college trust Dad had set up in my name only, a single plane ticket to Coastal University, departure 6 a.m. tomorrow, and a short note. Richard, you were right. I won't be wasting money on college. The full-ride scholarships are taking care of that. The trust you wanted to steal is untouchable. And this house? Dad put it in a trust for Mom and me the year before he died. Your name was never on it. Enjoy the eviction notice taped to the front door. You have 30 days. Love, the too dumb girl who just got accepted to every school she applied to. I locked the door behind me, got in Mia's car and didn't look back. 6 hours later my phone started blowing up. I let it ring. Some battles you don't fight in the house that tried to break you. You win them by walking out the door and never giving anyone the chance to rip up your future again. Dad always said I'd change the world one day. I started by changing mine. Could I really leave Mom behind? Mia squeezed my shoulders. Your mom is an adult, Sarah. You can love her and still save yourself. I knew she was right. But the night before I was supposed to disappear, everything exploded anyway. Richard kicked open my bedroom door, waving the Coastal University welcome packet he'd somehow intercepted. What the hell is this? He roared. You think you're sneaking off to betray me? My heart slammed against my ribs, but I stood up straight. Yes, I'm going to college. And you can't stop me. His face went purple. Like hell I can't. That's enough. Mom's voice cut through the room like a blade. She stood in the doorway, eyes blazing, the old fire I hadn't seen since before Dad died. Sarah, she said, steady and strong. Is this true? You got in? Full scholarship. I nodded, tears threatening. I'm sorry I kept it secret. I was afraid. Don't you dare apologize, she said fiercely. Then she turned to Richard. I have watched you bully my daughter for the last time. If anyone is leaving this house, it's you. For the first time ever, Richard had nothing to say. The next morning Mom helped me load the car herself. She hugged me so hard I could barely breathe. I'm proud of you, she whispered. And I'm sorry I let fear silence me for so long. That ends today. I drove away with tears streaming and hope finally louder than fear. 4 years later I stood on the graduation stage as valedictorian, degree in marine biology in my hand, Mom cheering louder than anyone in the crowd. That night Dr. Elena Olson, literally a legend in the field, offered me a research position on her team. I accepted before she finished the sentence. Over celebratory dinner Mom casually mentioned Richard's business had collapsed and he was now facing fraud charges. I felt a flicker of satisfaction, then immediate guilt. I shouldn't feel happy about someone's life falling apart, I said quietly. Mom squeezed my hand. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel, sweetheart. What matters is what you do with it. 3 weeks later, settled into my new apartment and dream job, my phone rang with an unknown number. I answered. Sarah. Richard's voice was thin, almost unrecognizable. It's me. Silence. I owe you an apology, he said, barely above a whisper. A real one. I was cruel. I was threatened by you because you reminded me how small I am. I'm sorry. For everything. I let the silence stretch. I hope you get help, Richard, I finally said. I really do. But some things can't be fixed with words after years of damage. I hung up. Then I blocked the number, turned off my phone, and went to the balcony to watch the ocean. Dad always said I'd change the world one day. Turns out the first wave I redirected was the one that had been drowning me. And now? I get to spend the rest of my life studying the sea that once felt like the only place big enough to hold my grief, and turning it into wonder instead. Some apologies come too late to matter. Some victories are quiet, salty, and taste like freedom. I was wrong about everything. Richard's voice cracked over the phone. I'm sorry. Please, could you help me get back on my feet? For old time's sake. Silence. Old Sarah might have softened. New Sarah remembered every torn acceptance letter, every "you're too dumb." Every night I cried myself to sleep. Richard, I said, calm and final, I'm sorry too. But we're done. Please don't contact me again. I hung up, blocked the number, and felt the last chain break. Not revenge. Just peace. 6 months later, I was standing on the deck of a research vessel, sunrise painting the Pacific gold. Mia and Miss Thompson were laughing over coffee behind me. Mom was flying in tomorrow. A colleague shouted, "Sarah, killer data from last night's dive. Come see." I grinned and walked inside. This ocean, this work, this life was the future Dad always saw for me. I fought like hell for it. And now it's mine. I went on to lead coral reef conservation projects that made headlines worldwide. Mom found her spark again in painting and opened a little gallery back home. Mia became a journalist and still threatens to write my biography. Miss Thompson sends postcards from retirement. Still proud of you, Dr. Sarah. Richard. I never heard from him again. Some doors you don't reopen. You just keep sailing, so tell me in the comments. If the person who tried to destroy your dreams came crawling back begging for help, would you throw them a rope? Or let them sink? Drop your answer below, hit like if this story hit home, and subscribe for more real-life revenge that tastes like freedom. See you in the next one, Water Wave.